have so many questions just up to this point. Like it's fascinating. First off, tell us who you are.
Okay, so my name is Grace Lovejoy.
All right.
And I am an artist. I think I call myself a creative now, a creative director. So my business is called Faux Tattoo Studios. Now that's the business end of what I do for production. And the retail side of that is called Tat Bar.
Okay.
And what we do for everyday people to come in, they come and get fun tattoos that look completely real, but they come off in about a week. So basically I use the technology. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I use the technology that I developed for the film tattoos, and I give it to everyday people who want them. And they literally are banging my door down. So after I was diagnosed in 2016, diagnosed with colon cancer, I had to stop everything I was doing to go straight into treatment. And it was like major treatment because it was stage 3B, and it was like they didn't even know if it's going to make it.
Yeah.
So what I was working on right up until that point was I was about to launch a full stencil line so that we could teach this technique to makeup artists, so that we could help save tattoos for the Hollywood industry and everything else. And when we were diagnosed, it was just like, okay, we're just gonna have to stop. So I actually put everything on the back burner. We had the website ready to go. We had stacks and stacks of stencils. We had everything almost ready to go, and it just stopped. And I actually kind of forgot about it because I had to go into treatment and whatnot. And we changed our business model, went from catering to makeup artists and film production to just doing events. And we actually happened to get hired by Live Nation like a month after I was diagnosed. And they wanted to send us across the country on a music festival tour with Soap and Glory, basically launching that brand in the United States, because it's a UK company. Yeah. So what ended up happening was one of the makeup artists that I trained for production stood up and said, I'll take the job for Soap and Glory. I'll get a crew together and you just get everything that I need. So I brought the laser into my bedroom and I worked from bed. And we all worked together, and that tour turned out to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
And then we actually got hired for a bunch of other giant corporations. So we thought, we were just going to start doing the events, and that was going to be our thing. We were going to open the studio here, which we ended up doing. I got through the cancer, and I'm in remission now, 2 years.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, I'm going to be good. We just decided that it's time to launch the stencil line. So that's what I'm going to be doing on Twitch. I'm going to be doing demos of me putting the tattoos on, and I'm going to be doing basically showing people how they can do it themselves.
Oh,
so
nice.
I had the opportunity to work with Sea of Thieves, and that's actually how we ended up going to Twitch.
TwitchCon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And I went to the first one in 2018. I just hit it off with their community and with the guys that developed that game. And everybody was telling me that I should start streaming. And I was like, I've got way too much going on.
Yeah.
And so they ended up having us come back for this last 2019 in San Diego. And that's where I actually saw all the people that I saw the year before. We actually kept in touch on social, and they were like, why aren't you streaming? Like, you should be streaming right now. You should be streaming this.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, wait, that's a great idea. And the guys were like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And we were all like, why are we not doing this? So I was like, I have got to get out of my shell. And I've got to start, just putting myself out there, because I have a lot of friends that come to me for advice. And I give it to them. I'm not, I don't hold back. And, it's a gift, and I've just been keeping it to myself. So I'm going to start putting that out there, and hopefully I can be of help to, even if it's one person. So I vowed as soon as I got back, that I would start my Twitch stream, and that I would start showing people how to do these tattoos, not just for themselves, but just for whatever.
Yeah.
And, come check our stencil line, that kind of thing. But the cool thing about TwitchCon was that I met a lot of people that probably are a lot like me in that they don't get out a lot. They're probably not social butterflies. They probably have, previous issues with mental health and things like that.
Yeah.
And I even met a couple of people that actually had issues with cutting. And because I can always see it. I mean, I know it. I mean, I understand it. All of my love goes out to those people. Yeah. And I think there's something about the power of touch that helps them to open up. But more than one person have told me, I would love to do this instead of cutting myself. Like this is like a great distraction.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to show people how to do it, because it's a great hobby. Drawing positive attention to yourself is somehow, it's really therapeutic.
So someone very close to me was a cutter through middle school and into early high school. And it was very much like it was tiger stripes. Like that was their way of dealing with the issues. Mm-hmm. But a large part of it, from what they told me, was that it was a way to kind of visually show what they were feeling. That was more important to them than necessarily
the pain.
And it was a way to draw attention that they were hoping to get.
Right, because it's a shout out for help.
Yeah, the idea of being able to do the style of artwork that is, there's a longevity to it. It lasts about the same amount of time as the scabbing would, not as much as the scarring would.
Right.
But I could definitely see how that could be very therapeutic. And
and also, using choice art, like this one, for instance, Hope Faith. Yep. That's something that actually helps me when I look at it. And it's about choosing what. Mostly, it's about choosing to take control of that situation, to kind of, instead of
it's super
going
empowering.
Towards and also there's something about stoicism, about taking what's happening and acknowledging it, but not allowing it to cause the fight or flight or any of those other negative issues that may come up for people when they're doing it.
Yep.
And I think that there's something to that. I can't quite put it into words yet. I think I'm going to write an essay about it. But also, a lot of people that I've actually done the tattoos onto have expressed that there's something about the time-based art aspect of it that actually is therapeutic in a lot of different ways. And I'm gonna explore that, because there's something to it. And having been someone who's actually had to deal with a lot of negative experiences that affected my mental health, I realized that early on, it was the art that helped me get through that. And that has actually been something that I've taken throughout my life. Like anytime that I was active with my work, I was doing way better than any of those times that I gave myself up to a situation and stopped doing my art.
Yep.
So it's definitely been a therapeutic thing for me. And I've been through more than I would hope a lot of other people have been through. I would hate that they would have to go through any kind of the things that I've had to go through. But the fact is that there's always someone out there that is experiencing something worse than what you've gone through. And that's something that I try and keep in mind. And I think that's probably what helps me to have a incredibly compassionate approach to doing people's tattoos at parties and events, because it's like you never know what's going to come up. Like we actually were at the Twitch this last time. We were at a World of Tanks and Sea of Thieves.
Yep.
And we probably did about 1,000 tattoos.
there's something really magical and bonding about artwork that A, is on their body, and B, that takes time. You know, it's not just, hey, we're putting this on. There's actually a time component of that. There's something really, I think that's part of the addiction with traditional tattoos, is because it is that it takes a while. Like, you have to commit to it. You have to sit in it. You also have to meditate in it.
Yeah.
I say meditate more of like, you know, your mind has to settle into that space.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I really feel like there is some kind of a meditational aspect of doing lots of different types of art. This one definitely.
I love the story about how when you were being chastised as a kid, when you were struggling as a kid, using art as a way to cope, heal, and to feel pride in yourself. Because that's one of the big things that happens when we're going through these, whether we know it or not. Anytime we're struggling, we kind of lose that confidence.
Right.
Yeah. So it's nice to be able to have something you can create to say, like, I have put this into the world now. And even if it doesn't last, even if it doesn't stay, like, I have created something.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's again, it's what I call time-based art. I mean, there's a bunch of different types of time-based art, but this one,
oh, that's cool.
It's not about, right. It's not about how long it lasts, really. It's about how it makes you feel while it's there.
Yeah.
It's a very Zen way of thinking about, because it's about being in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's about not having any expectation for the future and not really caring about the past. It's about like enjoying that art while it's there.
That Buddhist mentality is absolutely right. Because one of the main tenets is that, you know, sadness isn't bad, fear isn't bad, happiness is, that they're all just feelings. And instead of trying to subdue the feelings, the idea is that you feel them, you live in them, and you embrace them while they're there, and then when they're gone, you move on. And so it's exactly like being able to do that with a piece of art on your body is like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of like an undiscovered country. Like, we kind of stumbled upon it, didn't realize that that was going to be a powerful component of what we do. And it was something that actually became more and more obvious after we opened the studio here, because I don't know how many hundreds of people we've done in here, but every single person that leaves here gives us a hug. That's so important to me, because how many other businesses can you walk into and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing in here, and then walk out and be like, I mean, we're friends. We're going to be friends for life now.
Being able to get something that is very personal to them, that helps them through whatever situation they're in, or just to celebrate that situation more, to take that to the next level, is really exciting, and that can be insanely beneficial. And then for the people who are using the stencils, you know, there's a ton of really incredible artistic people around, and giving them some outlet that matches how they want to represent themselves, how they want to put their art into the world, and to make that more accessible. Because right now, like, taking the step from, okay, I know what an airbrush gun is, to being able to do really high quality looks is hard. Like, that's intimidating, that's scary, that's a giant leap. And to shorten that hurdle dramatically, I mean, there's a lot of people who are going to benefit a lot, both on both ends.
And here's the thing that's really fun about it, is that it doesn't just have to be tattoo art, and it doesn't have to be just my art. We can take other people's art and we can put it into stencil form, and you know, and they can make t-shirts if they wanted to. We're going to expand that part of it as soon as I get this stream up and running. Then I'll actually probably next month start streaming airbrush apparel. So we're going to be doing customs for shoes and, you know, sneakers or whatever. And that's, for me, it's just for fun. But it's the next phase of what I want to do, because I actually want to make the airbrush apparel stencils available for people, so they can empower themselves in different ways. Say if you're doing a fundraiser, or say if you've got a soccer team that you need to make shirts for, or whatever it could be. It's easy if somebody can. It's easy if someone shows you how to do it. I'm gonna say that growing up with incredibly abusive parents helped to fortify my spirit for what was coming, which was the cancer, which I had that tumor growing in me since I was probably 18.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was the size, it was about this big. It was the size of a man's fist of grapefruit. And it blocked my colon, and it sent me into the emergency room for emergency surgery. So they had to make a diversion, which means that I had to wear a colostomy bag for the better part of a year. And while that was happening, I did not tell anybody about that. But now that they've closed that off, then now I can talk about it. But I have friends on Instagram that are so open about that whole thing. I mean, they have been like a huge inspiration to me, because they opened up about what was happening in their most intimate life.
Yeah.
And like who wants to talk about poop, right? So I feel like, the poop emoji is really going to help me to lighten things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's talk about it, because the thing is, like, I didn't talk about what was going on with me until it was too late. And by the time I talked to a doctor about what was happening, which was basically blood coming out of me, and it was almost too late. But I just tried to maintain a clean, healthy lifestyle. I actually, when I was going through the treatment, I used guided meditations every morning. And that's something that I would really recommend if anybody's going through something difficult. Is just, you have to maintain your positivity. My oncologist, I just had my 3-month checkup, and he told me that this is my 2-year remission. And he actually had a tear in his eye. He's like, I don't always see these positive outcomes. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't. And he said that it was because of my positive attitude that I was able to get through that.
From the people I've been around, there's usually one of two things that happen. One is the fear settles in, and they go inward. Like, it's very much, I need to handle this here. And they almost come to grips with their mortality in a way of like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other group is the one that it becomes very outward. It's very much like, okay, no, this isn't going to be it for me. I want to continue to do this. I need to. And how you cope, you mentioned that you were still working and doing the stencils while going through all of this. It's a really beautiful way of coping, where it's, I'm going to leave my mark on the world. And to go farther, it kind of connects with how you handled when you were a child. Of its,
there was definitely a connection. When I found out, unfortunately, I found out on my birthday, and it was a bill that I got in an email, and it was a bill from the guy that gave me the colonoscopy. And I had to look up the word, which was adenocarcinoma. I had to look it up and Google it. And I Googled that, and it said cancer. And then I looked to see how many people survive that cancer. And I was just like, oh, shoot. Yeah. And then I cried for about 5 minutes. And then I did not cry after that. I was like, I am not dying from this. And that was it. I mean, I have a son. At the time, he was 12. And I was just like, that kid needs me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the luxury of an extended family. It's just me and his dad. Yeah. And, the world that we created for him was basically protecting him from the abusive parents. But now I felt like, wow, do I have to protect him from, the
now there's all this
cancer?
Yeah.
Right. Well, so yeah, it was difficult at first. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I cried for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I just thought about my son. I thought about my business. I thought about this thing that I invented. And I said, I am not giving up. As a matter of fact, not only am I not giving up, I'm going to be as positive as I possibly can about this. We sat down with my son. We said, all right, Kai, so mom's got cancer. And we were expecting him to be, very emotional about it. And he was emotional about it, but it was emotional in a way that really inspired me. He said, well, he cracked a little smile and he said, I'm glad that we know what's been hurting you, because I had been suffering for years.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what was wrong with me, and the doctors didn't really want to look.
Yeah.
So he knew something was very wrong with me. And when I got the diagnosis, he was just like, well, now we know, now we can fight. And that was coming out of a 12-year-old. I mean, he's like really, really what got us through it. Cause we were just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
He's got this. So let's just, follow his strength and let's just, as a family, just work through this. And we did. I don't know how we did, but we got through the worst of it. And when I finally got the diagnosis of my stage, that's when we were like, oh, wow, okay. So it's pretty late stage. And that was the same process. We were just like, okay, you know what? We're just going to power through this, and we're going to make this work. And whatever happens, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to do the best we can through it. So, all I can say is preventative medicine is incredibly good. And also, if you see a little spot of blood down there after you go to the bathroom, run to the doctor, because if you're bleeding, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And don't be embarrassed. Just go to the doctor, because they want to treat you. And if they don't want to treat you, find another doctor. Yeah. If they don't want to do a colonoscopy, find someone else that will do a colonoscopy for you. And if you can't afford a colonoscopy, well, there's a organization called Colonoscopy Assist, which is what I used, because I couldn't afford the $3,000 colonoscopy because I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
At the time, which is crazy. Okay, you're diagnosed with cancer and you don't have insurance. What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I could go down the insurance, the whole of.
We will be here for another hour.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
But, elections matter.
Yeah.
So the lucky thing is that I moved to Nevada, and they had the Medicaid expansion, thanks to Governor Sandoval. And I was able to get on Medicaid if I stopped working. So I stopped working.
There you go. Yeah.
And that saved my life. Because if I didn't move to Nevada, then I would have died in California. Well, because of the healthcare there.
It's crazy that, and not to go too much into this, but you sometimes literally have to make the choice of whether I'm willing to put my family in that much financial risk.
Yeah.
And you start weighing, like, what are my chances on each side, and like, you start gambling.
Yeah.
And that's not something you want to have to gamble on.
No. And you can't, you have to navigate it's a minefield.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, and I would say this to anybody who's going through any kind of medical thing, is that you have to be your own advocate. You have to check everything. You have to dot every I. I mean, you have to cross every T. You have to ask lots of questions, and you can't just take their word for it, because not everybody in the healthcare field, unfortunately, is having a good day, and sometimes they miss things, and people make mistakes, and unfortunately lives are in the balance. So you have to be the person that is advocating for your own health and your own well-being going through that whole thing. So I think that it's possible to get through and to navigate our healthcare system, but you just have to take it on like a battle, and you just have to be like, take no prisoners, because nobody cares more about your health than you do.
I love hearing how people affected you. One of the things with the Matrix card, our slogan is creating unstoppable heroes. And what we believe is that everyone has a hero inside of them. Sometimes they just need a little help finding it. And the question is always, what's a hero? And for us, it's somebody who's trying to make the world a better place, somebody who's trying to help people. And it's hearing the story. It's incredible. Here were all these people, you know, in Copenhagen, in Vegas, in LA, and all over the place, who nothing they did was, would you consider superhero? You know, they didn't invent something brand new. They didn't, you know, do anything that was huge, crazy, oh my God. But their small actions were super heroic towards you. And they changed your outcome by just doing small little things. And that's amazing. Like that type of heroism, that type of community, that type of people is incredible. Like it's amazing at how much we can positively impact the world by just doing little itty bitty things.
Yeah. And just little expressions of love.
Yeah.
You know, like you matter. Like I love who you are. I love what you're doing. I love everything about you, you know, and that's not a lie. I mean, that's really just, basically it's just, it's sharing a seed, you know, it's like, cause that seed gets inside of someone and it gets planted there, and then that can grow. And those people that got me through that, and my partner and my son, all those people planted seeds in me that helped me to grow this, you know, this is a giant oak now. And after I survived the cancer, I decided that my task in life is to spread love and joy. And so what I've decided for the first time is to, instead of celebrating my birthday on Thanksgiving, I'm going to go work in a homeless shelter and help with
that
food.
Gave me shivers. That's beautiful. That's
And my new celebration day is going to be Mother's Day, because I love Mother's Day. So I don't, you know, I actually just took all of the little things that were triggers for me, that were bad memories or whatever, and I just decided to just own it and flip it. So, you know, so I can't deny that November 23rd is my birthday, and that day used to suck for me. I'm going to make it a celebration day, and not for me, but for other people.
That's awesome.
Spread and give what you know, what, instead of staying at home feeling sorry for myself. So
that's glorious. That's a really cool and a really brave and amazing mentality to have. What was a hero to you when you were a kid? Who was your hero, and what made them a hero? So it could be fictional, like I had Darkwing Duck, and what I loved is that he wasn't very capable, but he always wanted to do good. Like that was super. He wasn't the most talented, but his heart was always in the right place. And that was really powerful to me.
Right. Yeah. So two people. One is fantasy, I guess. I don't know. So Wonder Woman. Just love her. And Spock. And because I mean the logic. And Grace Jones. Grace Jones was my, I looked up to her. I really loved that strength that she had. She's usually a villain. But she was also Andy Warhol's muse. And, you know, I just really loved her. And then one more that's coming to mind for me right now wasn't really a personal hero, but it was a set of movies that kind of helped me get through. And it was The Neverending Story. Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. So in the Neverending Story, so Artax, the horse. He didn't make it out of that swamp like that. Okay, the mud that brought him down, that for me it's depression. And if you let it, you'll sink in and you won't be able to get out of there. And thankfully at the end, Artax comes back. But the thing is that I kind of was able to equate certain things like the darkness with, my parents trying to take my art away from me. you know, trying to invade my thinking and tell me what I should be thinking, what I shouldn't be thinking. And I rejected that. You know, I rejected it fully because of that movie. And that I just had a feeling that was wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And even now, like I don't let the depression everybody has down days, but I don't let depression become something where like it starts to grab hold of my feet and then like pull me down like quicksand. And also the darkness, it's about, you know, not allowing yourself to feel pleasure, not allowing yourself to have fun, not allowing yourself to, you know, basically just like giving into it. And as long as you can keep away from giving into that, then there's always hope. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. So that's one thing that I would say. I mean, I would say if I had heroes, it would be those people and those movies.
We talked about your heroes during the recovery and the things that they did to help you. What specifically made them heroic, do you think? Like, what makes a hero now?
Okay.
So when you're younger, it was the strength, the logic.
Okay, so I can tell you that right now. Also, some of my big heroes were the oncology nurses at UMC here in Las Vegas. They saved my life. I mean, they did it with such love and such caring, and I think they felt bad for me because nobody was visiting me. But yeah, whenever they came in the room, I was just like beaming because I was just so happy to see them, and they did something for me. I was starting to have a reaction to all of the opioids. It was giving me a migraine, and I was in a lot of pain, and they came in and they did healing hands on me, which was amazing. And now these ladies, these two oncology nurses, have expanded that program. So now they actually have, they do that throughout the hospital there. And they help people with pain who can't tolerate opioids. And their kindness and their ability to be able to draw that power and that, you know, draw the pain out of my body that way, it was amazing. And now they're also bringing little horses into the hospital too.
Which is, yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those women are heroes in ways that I could never be. I mean, they're just every day they have to deal with people who are in enormous pain. They're probably feeling pretty shitty, and they're not nice all the time. You know, and they just continue to give that love. They just, you know, and that's a hero to me.
I was gonna say, like, that profession, that especially the oncologist nurse, it's a grind because I mean, the outcomes aren't always positive.
Yeah, I know.
And the people aren't by any means even close at their best.
No,
and to do that day in and day out and stay positive and happy and helpful, it's hard.
Yeah, they're some of my biggest heroes right now. Yeah, and it's a thankless job. They don't get enough love. So,
and I'm not sure how you could even give them enough love because what they do, I don't know how you measure it.
There is no measuring that. I mean, as long as they're practicing, as long as they're over there, they're putting out more positivity and good stuff than most of us will ever, you know, hope to. Yeah. And it's just their job, and that's what they do, and they love doing it. And I follow them on Instagram. On every little thing that they put up, I'm like, you know, crying emojis, lots of hearts, you know, blue hearts. And so that pretty much answers that question. There's the people that, and also my partner here, Chris, he got me through that, held my hand every day, and he fed me every day, drove me back and forth to all of the doctor's appointments, hundreds and hundreds of them.
Which is hard. Like that's...
Yeah, he never gave up on me. And he still makes sure that I eat and I remember things. We're still looking for my keys. I can't find them. But Yeah, so I'd say, Chris Cattrall is my other hero.
That's
also a great dad.
Last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's something you could recommend to us? Either a show you're watching, a book you're reading.
Yes, I've got it. So there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way.
Okay.
And that's by Ryan Holiday. And he used to be like a big marketing guy. He was a marketer for American Apparel. He's a hot shot. But this last book that I read from him was just one of the most amazing books. Basically, he basically helps people get through issues and obstacles by using the philosophers and the Stoics as as guides. So
just Google the obstacle, it comes up.
Yeah, so if you Google the obstacle, it comes up, but it's called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Okay. And I mean, I'm only halfway through it because I mostly get my reading in airports. But it's one of those life-changing books that, it's already helped me because, like, if you are able to calmly think yourself through a problem without freaking out, then you're going to have a better outcome, any way that you look at it.
Yeah.
And, if you can take yourself out of the emotional and put yourself into the logical, then you've got a much better chance of getting through whatever issue that you have to deal with. I mean, even if it's a small thing.
It's something that you have to train yourself to do. So you do it on small things and it starts to being able to do it on bigger and bigger. And it's one of the things that I'm a really big proponent of is that, asking for help isn't weakness. Knowing when to ask for help. Because I mean, we're not always at our best. We don't know all the information, and it's unrealistic for us to be able to handle every situation.
So true.
And once you start being kind of open, it becomes easier and easier to ask for that help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the book is basically the timeless art of turning trials into triumph. And when I first opened it up, I was like, okay, let's see what this guy has to say. Yeah. But I've only been halfway through it, and I've utilized, knowledge that I've learned from that, and in so many different ways that it's one of the best books I've ever read. So that's what I would
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Grace, thank you so very much. Before we go, go through, you mentioned your stream a couple times.
Okay.
Do you have your Twitch ID?
Yes.
And what is that?
Grace Lovejoy.
All one word, no underscore?
Mm-hmm. No underscore.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And people can start following you now, but you're going to be streaming in the next couple months.
I'm actually going to be streaming in the next couple of days.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm ready. I finally got it all set up today. And I'm going to I've got a lot of projects going on, so I'm just going to start with that. Nice. And just kind of a soft launch. Not really a hard launch.
Yeah. You have to test out the technology. You have to figure out what you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stream the studio.
Yeah. Nice.
When I'm not, I don't have my face in the camera because we dance and we do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a pretty good scene. So whenever I'm not on actually doing my tattoos and I'm in the studio all the time, then I might just turn that live stream on, just so people can see what we're doing in here. So just to keep it interesting.
That's awesome.
Also, we're relaunching the stencil, faux tattoo stencils is the new stencil line that we're going to be launching that in the next couple of weeks.
Nice. So what's the website for that, or where can people find information on that?
So it's faux-tattoostencils.com. So faux like faux fur.
FAUX?
It's French. Yes. A lot of people say fox. Yeah. It's frustrating, but faux-tattoostencils.com is it live?
No.
It's not live
I
yet?
just broke the site today, remember?
Oh, okay. So he's still working on that side.
All right. So that'll be
when I launch it, you'll know because I'm going to
Perfect.
stream that whole thing.
Perfect.
But if people just follow my stream, I'm going to be streaming like by Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday probably, and we'll do some fun stuff. You
Nice.
guys will see what I'm doing.
Do you have a Twitter to follow or an Instagram?
Yes, it's I Paint Flesh.
Okay. Again, all one word or any underscore?
All one word.
That's awesome.
So that's Twitter, and that is Instagram. And you can see some of the work that I've done on my Instagram. And then also Tat Bar Las Vegas.
Okay.
If you want to come to Las Vegas to get one of our fun tattoos, follow that Instagram, Tat Bar Las Vegas. And
you can't see it, but for everybody, that's the over her left shoulder. Tap Bar.
Tap Bar, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to be streaming inside of there too.
That's awesome.
Just going to be fun. What were we going to say?
Faux Tattoo Studios.
Okay, so Faux Tattoo Studios. This is getting complicated. Faux Tattoo Studios is what we do for film and television. If you want to go check out some of the celebrities I've done, you can see them there. And
The events.
and also the events too. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are doing a ton. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You got to stay moving.
Yeah, you have to.
When you're an artist.
It's like a rolling stone. If you stop, you grow moss and everything goes downhill.
Yes. That is not. No, it's not happening. So yeah, this has been really, really fun. I can't wait to start streaming and start my own community and just like share some positivity.
Just stay connected with them.
Oh, and stay connected with you guys, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to be hard to not.
Okay, good.
Collab.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for the honesty. I know it takes a lot of courage to talk about our things in the past. But I agree. It's and poop. Getting rid of the stigma, I think, is a huge part of helping others because when we're going through, whether it's physical ailments, mental ailments, we always feel like we're the only one. And the reality is that's not true.
It's so true.
We're unique, but it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
And so once you kind of get that feeling of like, okay, there's people I can go to. There's something really empowering.
I mean, no. So part of this is because of that. It's like I am out here looking for my tribe.
Yep.
So when I let other people know that I'm who I am, then I will attract my tribe, and I won't, and I'll have more people to add to my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what this is.
There you go.
Yeah. So.
So thank you.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. I appreciate it.